The Pixel 2 XL. What was supposed to be Google's dream phone for the year has fast turned into a nightmare of sorts if reports are to be believed. In fact, Google's been taking quite a bit of flack for everything, right from the omission of the headphone jack to the viewing angles of the display, not to mention certain camera issues. So does the Pixel 2 XL suck? Should you just not care about Google's top offering this year? Or is there more to it? Well, let's find out in today's video. But before we do, if this is your first time here, or in case you're watching this off axis on a POLED panel and can't make out, my name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech, and welcome to our full review of the Google Pixel 2 XL. Now before we start, if you do actually end up liking this video, go ahead, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and bell icons. Let's get started. First, let's start with what Google got right, the build. This is not the best looking phone out there. Say the Note 8 or the iPhone X definitely look much better, but the Pixel 2 XL is no dunce. It looks quite nice. The 3D glass to the front that covers the display, the high screen to body ratio, the metal build with glass to the top of the back, it all adds character to the Pixel 2 XL. It looks uniquely Pixel. I like what Google's done here, but you may not. In which case, you should check out Dbrand, our sponsors for this video. They've got loads of skins available for the Pixel 2 XL and even provide customization options so that you can mix and match and get that look that you really want. Hit the link in the description to check them out. So, coming back, ergonomically, I would rate the Pixel 2 XL over quite a few others in this segment. It is not as slippery as the competition. Feels nice in hand. The 7.9mm thickness and 175g weight are definitely manageable. And remember, it now has IP67 certification. Another area that Google's got right, for the most part at least, is the specs. The 2XL is powered by a Snapdragon 835 chip. You get 64 and 128GB storage options, and there is 4GB of RAM. Performance is on point. The Pixel 2 XL blazes through anything thrown at it, whether it's intense gaming or just mundane old day-to-day tasks like opening apps, switching between them. The Pixel 2 XL is a pleasure to use. The performance also doesn't mean a compromise on battery life. The 3520mAh battery on the 2XL easily lasted me through a day of moderate to heavy usage on a single charge. I've never had to plug this phone in midday in my 10 days with it, no matter what I was doing. Even if you do have to, remember it charges back up real fast. Now, a fair bit of this performance and battery life optimization needs to be credited to what Google's done with the latest Android 8 Oreo. That is what the Pixel 2 XL runs on. Oreo also brings with it some nice little additions like a revamped settings menu, notification dots which lets you check out your notifications without having to pull down the notification shade, the option to pull actions onto the home screen and more. It is worth mentioning that the one feature that I was very excited for, picture-in-picture, was kinda iffy. Didn't really work with the likes of YouTube, and even for, say, a Vimeo video off the Chrome browser, it was really finicky. That said, the performance here is top-notch. The user experience is exemplary, but, yep, there's a but. 4GB of RAM might be a bottleneck at times. Now this isn't something I've come across often. I've used this phone as my primary device for a little over 10 days and it's happened to me like a couple of times at best. RAM management isn't the best that we've seen. Phones that cost almost half as much come with double the RAM and can retain more apps and memory. This shouldn't be a deal breaker for most, but it is something worth mentioning nonetheless. Talking about disappointments, here's the big one: the omission of a headphone jack. After taking shots at Apple just last year for omitting the headphone jack, Google's gone ahead and followed suit and done the same here. It is annoying AF and is most definitely a disappointment. And now, let's address the elephant in the room, that POLED panel. For the display, Google's resorted to using LG's 6-inch POLED panel. It is a narrow panel with an 18:9 aspect ratio. It lets Google achieve a 76.4% screen to body ratio. Again, given what the competition has been able to do, it doesn't feel like the best implementation possible. The bezels still feel a little larger than they should have been. Now remember, it is not my fault that I keep comparing the 2XL with the Note 8 or the iPhone X. Google's the one who's gone ahead and priced themselves right up there alongside these phones. Now, even forget the bezels. Let's talk panel quality, and here's where the major trouble starts. This is a Quad HD panel, meaning a pixel density of a little over 535 pixels per inch. Now that means it's sharp. The 2XL is daydream ready and is a pleasure use for VR. But the panel has certain issues. There's a bit of a color shift when looked at off-axis. It is something I did get used to after a few days with the 2XL, but this is something we'd even find unacceptable on a, say, even if it were on a OnePlus 5 at 33,000 rupees. When it's here on a 73,000 rupees phone, all I can say is, why Google, why? I really wish they'd gone with a better panel here. Now while the display isn't a positive, what's found above and below that display most certainly is. This is the reason why you should look past the pretty looking competition. The 2XL sports stereo front firing speakers that sound absolutely fantastic. They are loud, clear, and I really love them. They just enhance the media experience a lot. Google's also included the squeeze option from HTC flagships here, and they went ahead and restricted it to only being able to trigger the Google Assistant. As much as I like Google Assistant and constantly use it with my Google Home, I didn't really find myself using squeeze a lot. Maybe 10 days was too short a learning curve. At least I never launched it accidentally, not even once, and similarly there wasn't a single instance where I tried to launch it and it failed. So the sensitivity settings option really worked well for me. The nav playing function also deserves a mention. If you're out somewhere and can hear music being played aloud, and maybe you catch yourself wondering, no, what's that track? Well, you don't even have to unlock the Pixel 2 XL, you just have to look at the lock screen, just raise it, look at it, and now playing shows you what's the track that's being played. Nice, right? So speaking of unlock, Pixel Imprint is back and works as well as can be expected. Now that said, let's get to the star of the show, the cameras. Unlike most flagship these days, Google's gone with just a single camera setup for the rear unit. A 12 megapixel f1.8 camera, but the sensor has dual pixels, which along with AI and machine learning creates a depth map of the scene and separates the subject from the background. What it means is that Google's software trickery can get you portrait mode shots without the need of a second camera. The results are quite impressive. Like most other implementations though, they are imperfect. The phone does struggle to blur certain parts of the image at times. Look at the white high-rise in the background of this image. And in this one, the trees at the corner. They're supposed to be a bit more blurred out. That's it, when you don't pixel peep and when it gets it right, which it does more often than not, the results look amazing. Now, forget the portrait mode for a minute. Even with just the regular pictures, the 12 megapixel camera produces some impressive results. Under good lighting conditions, they are extremely sharp with a ton of detail. Just look at this leaf, the veins are easily visible. Given the wide f1.8 aperture, the bokeh, that is the background blur, is quite strong in macro shots like this. Google's HDR Plus is back and better than ever on this phone. The finest of details are retrieved from the shadows and highlights. For the most part, the color reproduction is great. The colors on this leaf look true to life, for example. The Pixel 2 performs really well even under low light. Once again, HDR Plus helps. Turn it on and the images are significantly better with much less noise and better dynamic range than the ones shot with HDR Plus off. The images are even considerably bright. Even in pitch dark scenes like this, the Pixel 2 XL manages to capture some detail. The images are definitely usable. To put things into perspective, this is definitely among the best cameras on par or even a tad better than those on the Galaxies and the iPhones of this year. Should we do a comparison? Let us know in the comments below. Now with video, the Pixel 2 can shoot 4K at 30 frames per second. The super stable footage is thanks to Google's combined implementation of OIS and EIS. The quality of the video is excellent, very sharp, natural colors, but I feel the dynamic range could have been a little better. To the front, we get an 8 megapixel f2.4 camera. Doesn't really seem impressive on paper, does it? It doesn't have a dual pixel sensor either. Yet, it manages to capture some really good portrait shots. Once again, not perfect, but I found it to be more consistent with blurring out the background accurately. These are probably the best selfie portraits by any phone, period. And for once, I actually like the face processing or beauty mode. So guys, I don't usually shoot a lot of selfies. Hell, I rarely shoot selfies even for my own videos. I end up pawning that off to Sundar or Shahrukh. But this time, I was posting selfies to Instagram. That is how much I ended up loving this camera. Even without the portrait mode, this camera did perform extremely well. In fact, we actually have a blind test on it. Here's a card to that video, do check it out. So with that, let's talk price. In case you missed it the last time I said it, the 2XL is priced at 73,000 rupees here in India. That's a whopping 5,000 rupee premium over the Note 8. And the Note 8 is not really a value for money phone. It's a premium priced phone with an OS enabled secondary camera, an infinity display, a digitizer with an S Pen, extra RAM, and a secondary SIM slot, which is something that's very important in India. Most brands come up with dual SIM phones except Apple, and I don't know why Google's gone for the second year in a row with the Pixels a single SIM. Hey Google, we've got something called Jio. Anyway, now all that said, the pricing does feel ridiculous, doesn't it? Like I said, the Note 8 is no value for money device, and being priced 5,000 over the Note 8, what was Google thinking? Now the price and the display are the main cons for the Pixel 2 XL, and of course the single SIM. But the exemplary camera performance, the amazing user experience, the promise of fast updates and long-term support mean the Pixel 2 XL isn't a phone you could ignore. If it were priced below the Galaxy Note 8, I'd label it a must-buy. But at this price, I'd have to go with YMMV. Your mileage may vary. If the pros of this phone that we've talked about are things you value a lot, then yes, do get it. If not, look elsewhere. So that's it for my 2 cents on the Pixel 2 XL. What do you think? Is this a phone that you'd be interested in? Do you agree with my conclusion? Do you feel there's something else I should have included in this video? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and also don't forget to check out our sponsors, The Brand. I'll leave a direct link in the description below. So that's it for this video. I'm pretty sure you know what to do. If you hated it, if you loved it, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, bell icon so that you get notified each time we upload a new video. And if you did like this video, go ahead, share it with a friend, somebody who might be in the market looking for a phone in this segment, or somebody who might just be interested in technology, Pixels, Google, Android, basically anybody. Share it. Do share it. I'll even wait. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, this here is Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye bye.